The Halloween that followed me home. Halloween isn't supposed to stay with you. It's meant to come and go. A night of noise, candy, and harmless fear. But 2 years ago, it didn't leave. It followed me home. That night started like any other. I'd just finished a long day at a community event, running games, contests, and the kind of cheerful chaos that leaves your bones tired. I'd barely sat down when my little sister Savannah called. She wanted me to take her and my nephew Jackson trick-or-treating because no one else could. Savannah was 15, Jackson 11. She dressed as Raven from Teen Titans, pale makeup and all. Jackson was Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. I was exhausted, but I've always been the cool big brother. So I got up, drove over, and we headed to one of the busiest neighborhoods in town. The kind where every porch light glows and kids flood the streets like a river of color. Everything felt normal. People laughed, houses handed out candy, one man even grilled hot dogs instead of sweets. Said kids needed protein. It was wholesome, loud, alive. By the end, the kids' buckets were full and my patience was running low. We decided to head back to the car, which was parked a good 10-minute walk away. The street had quieted down. Most families already gone. That's when I noticed someone standing across the road. No porch lights, no decorations, just darkness, and in it a single figure wearing a hooded cloak. I almost missed them. They weren't moving. They weren't part of the fun. I told Savannah and Jackson quietly, "Stay close, don't stare, but look." Jackson laughed, thought it was a prankster. Savannah didn't. She saw my face and realized this wasn't a joke. I carry a licensed firearm. Savannah knew that. Jackson didn't. So when I told them to stay close, she understood something serious was happening. We kept walking, but as we turned the corner, I heard heavy footsteps behind us. Slow, deliberate, like boots on concrete. I turned. Same person. The cloak was gone now, replaced with black tactical gear. Vest, boots, a mask covering the entire face. "Keep walking," I whispered. "Don't look back." The kids obeyed. The sound followed, steady and controlled. When we finally reached the car, the figure was still closing in. That's when instinct took over. I pulled the Glock, pointed it at the person and said, "Stop. Why are you following us?" They froze, raised their hands, and pulled down the mask. A woman, early 30s, calm eyes, no emotion. "I'm an undercover cop," she said flatly. "There was a break-in nearby. I thought you were involved. Lower your weapon before I arrest you for threatening an officer." Her tone was robotic, rehearsed. My gut twisted. But with 2 kids behind me, I couldn't risk a confrontation. I lowered the gun slightly. Not all the way. "Undercover?" I said. "Then why the tactical vest? And what's the cloak for?" She didn't answer, just stared, eyes flicking between me and the kids. Then she smiled. A small, slow, unnatural smile. "If you didn't have that gun," she said, voice calm as ice, "this night would have ended a hell of a lot different for you." I froze. Then, movement. 4 figures emerged from between the houses, all dressed like her, no cloaks, no masks lifted. They stopped behind her, blank faces staring. "Get in the car," I said to the kids, my voice shaking but steady enough. I backed into the driver's seat, slammed the door, and drove off fast. As I looked in the mirror, the woman was still standing there. That same cold smile on her face, watching us leave. The next morning, I told myself it was over. Maybe it was some strange misunderstanding, but 2 days later, I got a text from an unknown number, a photo of my car parked outside my apartment, no message. I called the police. They filed a report, but without a threat, there was nothing they could do. So I went back to that same street, to the house where she'd first been standing. The man who lived there had no idea what I was talking about. No break-in, no police, no strange visitors. That's when I realized she wasn't a cop, and she hadn't been alone. I wish that were the only Halloween that stuck with me. But the truth is, I've met the darkness before. When I was 12, my family spent Halloween weekend at a small resort an hour away. 10 cabins, a lake, and a hayride through the woods. It was supposed to be safe fun. I met another kid, Ryan. We became instant friends. 2 kids hopped up on candy and courage. When the hayride began, torches lit the path. Actors in costumes jumped from the trees. Everyone laughed, screamed, then laughed again. But halfway through, something caught my eye. A man standing just outside the torchlight. He wasn't in costume. Black jacket, jeans, baseball cap pulled low. He didn't move, didn't wave, just watched. I remember locking eyes with him, thinking I did. The woods swallowed everything but his stillness. When the ride ended, he was gone. Later that night, during the bonfire, I saw him again. Same jacket, same cap, standing near the tree line, 30 feet away, watching. Ryan thought I was imagining it. I wanted to believe that. But later, when most families went back to their cabins, Ryan dared me to walk a little into the woods, just for a scare. We had flashlights, a childish idea of bravery, and a plan to laugh it off. We walked maybe 200 feet down a dirt trail until the sounds of the resort disappeared. There was a sign nailed to a tree, private property. We started tossing rocks at it, joking. Then, footsteps. Heavy, slow, not like ours. Probably another kid, Ryan whispered, but whoever it was walked like an adult. I raised my flashlight. The beam barely reached the trees. The footsteps stopped. Then a voice. Calm, too calm. Hey there, boys. He stepped into view. Same jacket, same hat. What are you doing out here? He asked. You like candy? He pulled a Reese's cup from his pocket, held it up like bait. I've got more in my cabin, he said. Come on, I'll give you some. Ryan's face went pale. I grabbed his arm and whispered, run. We sprinted through the trees, branches tearing at our clothes. I could hear his footsteps chasing, heavy, fast. We didn't stop until the bonfire light came into view. Adults turned, startled, as we burst out of the woods screaming. By the time anyone checked, the man was gone. The police came, asked questions, searched the woods, found nothing. They said he was probably a trespasser. Maybe. But that night, I learned what real fear feels like. The kind that has a voice and uses your name without knowing it. Years later, the same kind of fear returned. Only this time, it came to my door. I was 29, living alone. Halloween fell on a Saturday. My girlfriend was away visiting her parents, so I spent the night handing out candy and watching horror movies. By 10:30, the trick-or-treaters were gone, the street quiet. I was halfway through The Conjuring 2 when I heard a faint knock at the side door. When I opened it, no one was there, just leaves rustling in the dark. I shrugged. Kids playing pranks. 15 minutes later, another knock. But this time it came from the back door, the one that led to the deck. No one ever used that door. I muted the TV. The sound came again, the metal rattle of the knob being tested, slow, deliberate. I crept toward the kitchen and looked through the window. A man crouched by the door. Dark clothes, a cracked Halloween mask pushed to the top of his head. In his hand, a crowbar. He wasn't hiding. He was waiting. I backed away, called 911, whispered everything to the dispatcher. She told me to stay quiet, lock myself in, don't engage. Then came the sound of glass cracking. He was prying at the basement window. I whispered, he's trying to break in. The dispatcher said help was on the way. I could hear him moving outside, footsteps circling the house. Then headlights flashed across the blinds, red and blue. The man bolted. I ran to the window just in time to see police tackle him near my driveway. Inside his bag, zip ties, duct tape, knives, and a loaded handgun. He wasn't there to steal. He was there to take someone. The officer said quietly, "You got lucky. 5 more minutes." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. All 3 nights, years apart, shared the same smell in the air. Cold metal, burnt leaves, and danger pretending to be ordinary. The undercover cop, the man in the woods, the prowler with a crowbar. Different faces, same stare. The kind that studies you instead of seeing you. After the photo of my car, I bought a Ring camera. I started checking locks twice, then 3 times. Therapy helped, but the truth never left. Danger doesn't always wear a monster mask. Sometimes it wears human skin and waits for you to look away. I still take my nephew trick-or-treating. We go to well-lit streets. I keep my back to the road and my eyes on the shadows. I want him to enjoy Halloween, to remember the good, not the ghosts wearing people's faces. And when the night ends, when the kids go home with sticky hands and sugar smiles, I remember the woman's words, "If you didn't have that gun." I still don't know who she was. Maybe no one. Maybe someone who watched longer than I realized. But every October since, when the streetlights flicker and the air smells like fire and candy, I catch myself looking over my shoulder. Sometimes I think I see her, at the far end of the block, half lit by a porch glow. Not moving, just standing there. Maybe she's not real. Maybe she never left. But if she is, I hope she knows this. I see her now, and I'll never look away first. Always watch your surroundings. Evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just waits, and sometimes it follows you home. If this story made you look over your shoulder tonight, you're not alone. Like, comment your own Halloween experience, and subscribe for more nightmares every midnight.